Good morning, Southern California. What's up, GEOs? What's up, my little cousin GEO? What's up, family? What's up, Mom? What's up, Dad? What's up, Uncle Skip, Royce? What's up, Uncle Larry? What's up, Paul and Betty? What's up, Grandma, Grandpa? What's up, Uncle Larry? What's up, Pete? What's up, Kaylin? Brandon, Lynette, all of your families, extended families. What's up, Caleb? What's up, Alicia? What's up, baby boo? Rhoda, love you, Rhoda. Love you, Alicia. You are awesome. You're doing so great. You too, Caleb. Superstar. You guys are the heroes. All of you are heroes in this scene of life. All of you. I leave you with my smile. So this can be sort of a eulogy. Like I want to do my own eulogy, you know what I mean? Or I want to do my own, I want to do my own perspective of my own life before I lay this body down, before I transition. I want to leave you with something. I want to leave you with just a little video recording of me, because I love you. Because I love you. And because that love that I have for you is not just a word. And so it's kind of difficult or hard to give some sort of eulogy about one's life when one is still alive. I'd have to begin by just beginning to express gratitude from where I come from and what I've been through and where I am right now in life. It's the gratitude that will allow me to express what I want to express, or what God wants to express through the observation of my life. And so I must say, at this point in my life, I'm 52 years old. I have so much great gratitude within me that I almost can't contain it. I have nothing but gratitude, because at a very young age, from the beginning of life, I had nowhere to go but up. So I started, like we all do, from ground zero. But things were tough. Life was thrown at me and my brother. Or life was just right there, smack in the face. So we were faced with adversity right off. Big time. we got through it. But there was nowhere really to go but forward or up from that point, because in my own perspective, we were the lowest of the low. And that wasn't really completely honestly true. We weren't. But that's how I perceived it. I perceived, and that's why this video is coming out today, is because I want to speak to my perception of the current world we belong to, or that we're involved with, this collective consciousness that we're observing as a whole, and somehow the alienation that happens between an individual, a human being, a person like yourself or me, that is born into this, or even maybe makes a decision to come here and to carry out the purpose and the will of God, and to be used to make a difference. But we don't really see it like that sometimes. Sometimes we see it as we don't know how to define what we see going on around us. All we have to really work with is what our parents may say to us, or how they guide us, or school, our friends, the TV. So there's no one really breaking it down for us, sitting us down and trying to explain their own point of view or their own observation of what is transpiring here, what's really going on. How do we really sit down and interpret what's being said through the Bible when no one is really reading the Bible? I come into your space and I say this because I'm only aware. At a very young age, I felt alienated from this world, like we all do, when we are able to catch a glimpse of what is transpiring within the world around us. I call it the Matrix. You can call it the world, because in the Bible, or at least in our circles, we're being taught that we are in the world but not of the world. And this is correct. This is just another way of stating it. It's a beautiful way. We are in the world, but we're not of the world. But I use the word matrix just because I'm trying to create a character or a personality on this channel, this YouTube channel. So I'm trying to create something fun, fictional and non-fictional, and it's really just a character to sort of get to a point where I might be able to serve humanity and offer some sort of guidance or help through this channel. That's why it got started. But so life can be thrown at you, and it can be kind of confusing sometimes, and I just want to throw my own perspective on it real quick, if I'm able, through the gratitude that I want to express. I didn't know what to think of life, and I'm a very I think we're all a little bit of everything, but I'm very intuitive. I'm very intrinsic. I'm very much into, like, I'm in a state of awe completely all the time. People kind of know it, but I can't explain why things are the way they are, and I just feel out of place. But I felt that way my whole life. Alienated from what I see. Like, how did I get here? Why why am I here? I know I'm here for either a reason or there was a mix-up. Like somebody pressed the wrong damn button, you know? There was a glitch in the Matrix. I knew this at a young age, man. Sorry about that, but, you know, I get going. I knew this at a young age. I felt this at a young age, and I still feel it today. You know, so the whole question of, you know, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I doing here? And how did I get into this timeline? And why does this timeline seem to be so jacked up? Like it was, I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, all of us, but I was just aware there is a sense of autism to me. I've teased about it my whole life. But there is a sense of autism to all of us. We all are able to tap into our inner autism. What I mean is just like, there's just this interconnection that I notice now, even as I was a little kid, of this connection, you know, this God factor. And so, yeah, and so that's it. So we're thrown into life and we're not really sure what to think of it. We see some things, we hear things, we watch the news, and the news itself, if we weren't divine at all, if we were really mortal, if we were really finite, watching that kind of stuff would cause you, would literally destroy you. You would be in fear. There's no fear going on. You don't see anybody afraid of the news, and the news is deathly, wretchedly scary as hell. No one's hearing shit because they're just, you know, oh, sorry about this in my eulogy, right? No one's hearing anything. It's like The Walking Dead. That's why movies like this have come out. You know, that's why movies come out, to depict life. There's a lot of truth to a lot of movies. So we're thrown into life and we were not really sure what to think. And yes, the news is quite terrifying. It's really not a great place to get your daily data, your daily information. You know, it's really not what Christ said. It's really not what the Bible says. The Bible is totally against you watching the news every night. You know, but we don't hear that. We don't read that because we're not reading our Bible. And even if we are reading our Bible, we're not applying the important truths. We're not applying really anything, but we're not really even able to see through all of the theological modes and modalities and see through to the beneficial, effective things that need to be applied that come from the Bible in order that you might live a beautiful, productive life full of grace and love. So we're not doing that. It says in the Bible to think upon things that are noble, to think upon things that are righteous, to think upon things that are pure, to think upon things that are good, to think upon these things. And watching the news on a daily basis is doing the exact opposite of that. Because whatever we're feeding through our eye or through our ears or through our nose and even our mouth, it's exactly what we're feeding to our being. It's exactly what we're feeding to our soul. It's exactly what we're feeding to ourselves. And whatever we feed ourselves is what becomes what we are. In a sense, it's just a false identity. But we walk around with this false identity, unconscious of the programming that we're doing to our own self. So, we're thrown into life and we're really not sure what to think or how to live life in such a way that it's a benefit and a win-win situation for everyone around you always. So you're aware of the sovereign control that you can have over your life by being involved and engaged and effective and in harmony with who you truly are, and getting away from a lot of these false identities. And I know it's just so important for me to explain this to you. This is my eulogy. I appreciate you for listening to what I'm saying. This is my life's eulogy. Gratitude cannot be realized truly in the way that I've been able to experience gratitude, in a way that's been sort of a position of being constant, like it's not fleeting. It's a state that's never fleeting, even in confusion and chaos. And so I'm grateful for where I came from. I'm grateful to have been given an opportunity to be part of this timeline. I'm grateful for where I come from. I'm grateful for what I went through. I'm grateful for the struggle. I don't see the struggle as anything but good. Everything I went through was for the betterment and for the good of all involved. So there was nothing but good that came from my experience. This is what it means. All things are worked out for good. We're not reading our Bible. All things doesn't mean all things are worked out for the good of those who love God and according to his purpose and all this. Again, we're back in the but. All things means all things. And in all things, if all things are good, worked out for the good, where is this contender? Where is this adversary? Right? But we'll leave that alone. Just grateful. I'm grateful for where I came from and where I am. And if I could sum up my whole life in one word, it would be gratitude. So I might have came from the struggle, but the struggle back then was defined in a different way. So we're all in the struggle. This is all still the struggle. Anything within the matrix is a struggle. But we define it different as we mature and we grow up and we start to become grateful. We're grateful for the things that make us stronger. We're grateful because we allow the resistance to sharpen us. So instead of staying dull, we're catching the resistance in front of us and we're laying our flat blade right in front of it. And we're saying, sharpen me, Sharpen me. What can I learn from this? What happened? Why did this happen? How could have I maybe have dealt with it better? How could have I been more effective and helped the situation become a win-win situation if it wasn't already? What could I learn from that? Where was God in that? I know God was in it, but how can I see where God was in it? I know there's something good to learn from it, and I know that it has made me stronger. And I may not be able to see any, where this, we might not be able to put our handle on the strength that comes from it, but just having the right attitude will allow that strength to come from that experience, and it'll be given to you. This is the nectar, this is the honey. And I just want to say that my life has been a storybook life, and yours is too. Storybook. I ended up in the Garden of Eden. Never left. But even physically, my surroundings, I came from a adverse environment, you can say homeless, and then I ended up in Harvard. Literally, that movie is my life. Today I have a life. Today I have a village. Today I have a family. Whoa. No, if you had known me in my life before this, you'd be as surprised as I am. You would be surprised too. You would be like, wow, if you knew what I've been through. But it's not important what I've been through, right? Everything I've gone through, we've all gone through in our own story and in our own way. It's just about overcoming. And that's my story. I come from the struggle. I made the best out of the struggle. I couldn't understand what was going on in life. I didn't really try to. I rebelled. I was rebellious. I decided to go along for the ride. I wanted to see what was on the other side. I knew the day before I rebelled. The day I rebelled, I knew. I saw it all going on around me. I hated my environment at that point in life when I was, somewhere around 9th grade, 8th grade or something like that. I didn't like my life at home, right? But I was very much active in the community. Like I was connecting with everybody. I was still Mark, I was I always put on a mask, even though stuff was chaotic at home. No one could tell. I was dressing cool, you couldn't tell what was going on at my home. So I saw the rebelliousness, I saw the drugs and the alcohol, I saw the people, what was going on, and I knew there was one or two ways to go. I knew that if I went this way, I wasn't gonna know what, I was making a decision to go in a direction that was gonna have an unknown outcome. One that, at the time wasn't that scary, right? It wasn't scary at all, but it was just an unknown mystery, and everyone was going that direction anyway, or at least a lot of my friends were. So I decided just to rebel. I decided to just say, all right, let's do this. And I went in full on. I fully rebelled, fully. I just brought my whole self into it, and that's what happened. And I made it out with that rebellious attitude. I made it out, and we all make it out. And we all serve the rebellion in one way or another, whether it's, one experience or another. It's all Very similar. And then I found God. I found a rehab. I found love. I found a different life. I found the point where I made the decision to rebel, and I found myself back at that point. And I was like, oh man, whoa. I was like, okay, I don't want to go that way anymore. I definitely do not want to go that way anymore. It was fun. But that was enough. You know, if you're anything like me, you live life to the fullest no matter what. So when I got to that point, I decided to go a different direction. And I turned to my environment. I turned to sobriety. I turned to church. I turned to love. I turned to Christ. I turned to God. I turned to the alternative of rebelliousness, right? And I looked around and started seeking at a very young age and got nothing but doors slammed in my face. Nobody knew what they were saying. No, but I was going around to churches, knocking on doors, looking to try to talk to people and saying, what is Christianity? What's being a Catholic? Where's God? Help. And I did. I had a lot of, flakes. There were at least 3 to 5. They didn't have nothing to offer. Nothing. They didn't know what was up or down. And eventually I landed in some small groups and Bible studies. And that's where it began. And I eventually gave up my life living in Northern California, moved here to Los Angeles, and it followed me, the life followed me, and I somehow found God again, and ended up right here where you see me at Pinnacle Village, and with a family. So that's my life, that's my story. It's the God has been throughout my story, even in and out of the struggle. More so, of course, when I was aware of it and I was laying my life down for God. I would have never went. Well, I appreciate what happened, and I'm grateful for the decisions that I have made, because I've learned I'm just very blessed, and we can all be very blessed to be able to pull the nectar of life from life, no matter what we go through. So we don't have to regret where we came from. So that's number one. But if you're asking me, what would my advice be, or would I do it different? I might have done it. Yes, I probably would do it differently, only if in that moment where I decided to take that turn, I was more aware of, of what might transpire if I take that route. So yeah, no, I don't recommend it. No. If you're because see, rebelliousness or the turning to God or having to go through struggle in order to get to God, that is not it. We all go through struggle. It doesn't matter if you're on the street. It doesn't matter if you're in a home. It doesn't matter where you are. You are going to go through this same struggle that I talk about. You are going to have to overcome life. Life is what we are talking about. It is not anything to do with comparing one life to another. Life has to be overcome. You have to be overcome. The self has to be overcome. The egoic construct has to be overcome. That's what I leave with you. That's my eulogy. That's my statement. We need to get to a point in our life where we're able to lay down the ego and die to the self. And thank you, PV. Thank you. I don't even know if I have the ability to describe to you the love that I have for the people that are in my life. My village, my friends, my family. I'm literally speechless because I can go on and on and on about each and every individual, about how much I love them and how awesome they are. It brings me to tears every time. I'm soft. I've always been soft. But in my softness, there's strength. And I'm strong within that meekness. It's not my strength. It's not me being strong. But it's the strength of God. It's the strength of the awareness that God gives. My wife is probably the person in my life, the one person in my life that has made it's because of my wife that I'm here now talking to you. My wife is so amazing. She does things so subtly. Here's an example. She painted a whole wall in the kitchen, one color, like this beautiful brown, light brown background. And then she, on the wall, it says something about being grateful, that we need to be grateful. And it's huge. You see it every time you go into the kitchen. And ever since she did that, I've been looking at that wall and I've been going, it's right there in front of me. But how come I don't feel it sometimes, right? And that's what I mean about the subtleness. It's been there now for a while, but we really aren't aware of our gratitude because we don't give it that much attention. We're not really sure what we're grateful of because we're not thinking about that which we're grateful of and resting within that emotional feeling of gratitude. And so that to which she did was probably the most powerful thing she could have ever done for me and her family. That was power. That's power. And that's the way she's been her whole life. I am who I am because of my wife. If not for my wife, I won't be here. And look at our children, your children, my children. They're all our children. Wow. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing, both of them. the most humble kids I've ever seen in my life. Like, where did this... You know, it wasn't what was happening when I was a kid. You know, you weren't telling me what to do when I was a kid. Even though I knew I was going to get a whooping, I was still coming home at 12 and 1. Even though I knew I was going to get in trouble, I was still sneaking out the window and climbing down the side wall and leaving for most of the night and trying to make it back before everybody woke up. This is what we were doing. And my kids are so opposite from that. They're just home with us. You know. Anyway, my life has been nothing but a blessing. You hearing this have been that blessing in my life. And I want to thank you. Thank you for everything you do, everything you've done, and everything that you will continue to do for my family. I love you. I love you all. I'll always love you. Even when I'm gone, I'll love you. I'm not gone yet. But this is just in case something happens. I'm able to do it, so I might as well tell you I love you. And man, do I love you. That's why I'm doing all these videos. I'm just having fun. I love you so much, even if it's just this one video that you watch of me. We might as well continue to be online. I love you, Pinnacle Village. I love you, everybody in the village. Nothing needs to be said. Keep it up. Keep it going. Don't stop. Keep fighting. You're just okay. You're going the right way. You're fine. Keep fighting. Live within the leadership of GBA. Allow her consciousness to become your own. Identify yourself with Christ as you are doing, and keep it up.